Good afternoon everyone and welcome to the Debates and Insights channel. My name is Adrian and today I want to share an insight on my top 10 self-improvement and non-fiction books that can help you in two ways. Number 1. Support your self-improvement journey by either learning new skills and capabilities or by embedding new behaviors or adjusting the ones that you've always wanted to change but somehow just never got around to do it. Number 2. Help you see the world and understand the evolution of our species through a facts and figures perspective that I like to call the reality prism. Now, if it's your first time here and you want to expand your knowledge on science, technology, education, culture and entertainment and learn new insights that can help your personal and professional growth, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell below so that you don't miss anything. Now you're probably wondering, how did I get to choose these books? I am always on the lookout for valuable information that can help me hack my way through life by becoming more efficient, which basically translates in do more with less effort and time, and by adapting or developing new behaviors that are fundamental building blocks to reaching the goals that I have set out to achieve. Now without further ado, let's get started. Here are my top 10 self-improvement and non-fiction books in no particular order, as I do believe they're equally important. Starting off with, Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Now Chris is a former FBI negotiator that has spent 20 plus years of his life doing tactical hostage negotiation. And guess what? The techniques used in a hostage negotiation can be applied like a glove to day-to-day situations. Some even more dangerous, like negotiating with your wife and kids on who gets the remote. Ugh. That's a tough cookie to crack, right? Now, on a more serious note, whether you're in a bazaar trying to buy some souvenirs, in a car dealer shop looking to buy the car that you've always wanted, or you find yourself in a business scenario negotiating for the next promotion, or for that much desired corner office, this is the book to read. It will offer you a paradigm shift and it will challenge you to behave differently and to leverage one of the greatest gifts we have, the ability to perceive and respond to human emotions with the aim of getting to a fair negotiation. You will learn through vivid examples how active listening and tactical empathy can play a major part in a negotiation, and also how communication techniques such as mirroring and labeling can help you really master this art. I have personally applied these techniques in various scenarios and I have substantially improved my ability to negotiate in the business world. However, at home, to be honest, I still can't get my hands on that remote. Well, you know, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. Consistency is key though, and with practice you will learn to embed these techniques into your skills arsenal and from there improve your ability to negotiate. Finally, you might want to check out his website Swan Ltd.com, also available down below in the description, as he provides a lot of case studies and guides that you can download and further use. Now, moving on to book number 2, Erin Meyer, The Culture Map, Breaking Through the Invisible Boundaries of Global Business. Culture plays a major part in the way we behave and interact with each other. Each cultural difference is important, and recognizing these differences between cultures can prove to be helpful, especially when you're working in places where we need to communicate with people from various countries, each with their own accepted social norms. Erin has developed 8 scales to measure how people of various nationalities tend to behave. The book is full of live examples from various personal experiences where cultural differences played a huge part. Just to put this into context, let's take the disagreeing scale as example. Are disagreements tackled directly, or do people prefer to avoid confrontations? In a meeting that I've had with colleagues from Austria, Romania, the Netherlands, Australia, Poland and the UK, after the Austrian director mentioned his view on the strategy of the project, the Dutch colleague interjected and said, "This is stupid, it's a bad proposal and it will not work here on this project." The common lefty know most of the room, including me, and this was perceived by the Austrian director as a direct undermining of his authority. And guess what? Conflict arose. But what happened there? Well, it's a cultural thing. The Dutch people are used to convey feedback directly and frankly, so in a situation where they disagree with someone, they will call it out without any special wrappings or bow ties. Being mindful of that can help you understand the way they've acted and responded and help you calibrate your response so that it leads to a successful outcome. So if you are working or interacting with people of various nationalities, this book will prove to be very useful. It will give you the information required to understand how cultural and background information shapes human behavior and how you can safely navigate through the intricate webs of social situations. Now, the next book is Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. This is an exhilarating journey through history, from the formation of living organisms to genetic engineering and our search for immortality. It's a true masterpiece that looks at history not from a this event happened on that date perspective, but rather how various events have influenced the way we live now, and also what the future might look like with the rise of neuroscience and biotechnology. This was further developed and covered into a second book, which is called Homo Deus. Even if you're not a history buff, you will enjoy this biography of life and its key milestones throughout time. From the Big Bang 13.7 billion years ago, the emergence of organism 3.8 billion years ago, extinction of all Homo species. There were actually 6 Homo species in total, and we sapiens have managed to outlast and outsmart them all. Brain power, that's what I say. 13,000 years ago, the death of the last Homo floresiensis. 12,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution, and when they started to domesticate plants and animals, or did they domesticate us? I don't know. Further to that, the Industrial Revolution and the rise of consumerism. Finally, the present, and also how the future might look like. Will we become superhumans, and will the 80 become the new 40? I will do a separate debate in the next weeks to look at how the future might look like and what it might have in store for us 30 years from now. The next book on my list is Emotional Intelligence. This term first appeared in 1968 in The Communication of Emotional Meaning, written by Joel Davids and Michael Batlock. Its popularity, however, rose in the 90s when this book, written by author and science journalist Daniel Goleman, came on the market. Before the rise of the notion or concept of EQ, people focused a lot more on the importance of IQ, which is the intelligence quotient, and this was noticeable everywhere, from university admissions to the job selection process. The higher the IQ, the better chances you had of getting the right outcome. Now imagine this, you're driving on the motorway, during the night there's no traffic, and all of a sudden a deer jumps in front of the car. You instantly start to sweat, your blood pressure rises, and so does your pulse, and you react immediately. Why is that? Well, this is the flight or fight response governed by your brain's limbic system, the amygdala to be more precise, which are responsible for governing our emotions and our survival instincts. This is triggered whenever something induces stress, or also when the level of stress with the level of hormones will also rise up, such as cortisol and adrenaline. And the amygdala can actually hijack our response by making us react in an out of measure, over the top way to a stimulus that will require a more mild response. You've probably experienced multiple times when someone cuts in front of you in the traffic and nearly hits your car and you go, ah, in the flashes of flashes. Well, what does this have to do with emotional intelligence? Well, EQ describes your craft in managing your emotional state of mind and being able to relieve stress and then communicate effectively by showing empathy to others, by understanding their feelings and emotions, and provide an appropriated, calibrated response. However, when the amygdala hijacks your brain, it's quite challenging to take a step back and realize that you're blowing this whole thing out of proportion, and you might even end up regretting later. What I usually do is I use a few techniques such as controlled breathing, where I breathe in for 6 seconds, hold my breath for 2, and then continuously exhale for 7 seconds. That helps me regulate my hormones and my excitement levels. And sometimes I usually use also the woo-sa therapy from Bad Boys. Check out your boy Marty Ma. I know it's a bad impersonation, but let me have it. Now, in all seriousness, EQ is as important as IQ, and studies have shown that people with average IQs but with high capacity of regulating their emotions and showing empathy to others can actually achieve successful outcomes. So more on this in the book. Start reading it. The next book I want to recommend is Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep. Personally, I have, for the most part of my life, disregarded the importance of sleep. I am what you would refer as a night owl. I prefer to wake up later during the day, and my productivity reaches its peak during late afternoon. I usually tend to sleep 6 hours per night, thinking that there's always something else to be done and feeling that I need more time to do other activities rather than just going to bed. But what do you know? Along came Jackie, my 7.5 months old daughter now, and I knew I had to get some scientific insight on the importance of sleep, its benefits, and how it I can regulate it to ensure that I apply these learnings with my daughter. Matthew Walker is a neuroscientist and sleep researcher, and in his book he explains in plain English the science behind sleep, demystifying the biological and chemical processes that actually occur through the human body. I want to understand more about the circadian rhythm, which is the internal process that regulates our sleep and wake cycles, usually repeated every 24 hours. The chemical reactions that occur in your body that makes you sleepy, which is the accumulation of adenosine, which is known as sleep pressure, that slowly builds up from the time you wake up. Also the different stages of sleep, non-REM versus REM, which is the rapid eye movement. In short, the non-REM is responsible for the transferring short memory to long memory. It happens in the first hours of the night, whereas REM is the type of sleep that you associate with creating neural connections, putting 1 and 2 together, dreaming, and reading people's emotions. Yes, again, EQ. Both are a must, and depriving yourself of one or the other can increase the likelihood of getting health problems such as Alzheimer, diabetes. P.S. Have you actually noticed when you stay awake over 10 p.m. during the night that you get sugar cravings? Well, this again is due to hormones that regulate hunger, such as ghrelin that stimulates appetite and leptin that decreases it. When your body is sleep deprived, the level of ghrelin spikes, the level of leptin goes down, leading you into a rush of hunger and then opening that pack of biscuits. Put that cookie down now! Right, I'll stop with the impressions. So more on this, including a checklist to use for improving your sleep, are in the book. I personally changed my paradigm and now I'm working towards embedding a new habit, which is sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day, which is the recommended amount of sleep time for an adult. Now, the next book I want to present is Fatfulness, 10 Reasons We're Wrong About the World. This has been written by Swedish statistician and Dr. Hans Rosling in collaboration with Ola and his daughter-in-law Anna. He's also the founder of Gapminder, which is a non-profit venture that looks at statistics, facts and figures about the world and its evolution from things such as distribution of outcome, rich versus poor, to mortality rates and education. Now, the world is in constant changing and improvements are happening across all domains. Despite the daunting news and media we see and hear every time when we look at negative things that occur. In the end, this is what sells best, this is more marketable, and it triggers our alarm bells. However, slow change is still change. This book will help you understand how the world has changed within the last 50 to 70 years and how our personal biases can cloud our judgment and paint an overly pessimistic image of the world and the progress to date. The book will give you the chance to test your view so that you can see how you perceive the world and then provide you with a fact-based outlook that you even might find shocking at times. P.S. There's a section in the book that is extremely relevant for the times we live in now, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. This discusses actually the Ebola virus and the effect of doubling, which is a technique used to assess the seriousness of a potential global outbreak. In closure, I suggest you visit the Gapminder website, the link is also shown in the description, and run a quick test to see how aligned is your view of the world against the reality of facts. Our next book is Jason Selk, Executive Toughness. This is an exciting title, right? So Jason is a performance coach that has worked with dozens of professional athletes and Fortune 500 execs to help them succeed in their career and then form a routine and a behavior that gets them there. The definition of success differs from person to person. The path to what we desire and envision as success is not an easy endeavor. It takes a lot of mental toughness and discipline to shape yourself into becoming the successful person you seek to be. The book will provide you with a clear process for how you can get there and what are the key milestones that will define your success. The book focuses around 3 concept pillars, which are accountability, focus, and optimism, that are further detailed into 10 fundamentals. Now, what have I taken from this? I have personally established from the beginning of the year a daily routine that doesn't take more than 3 to 5 minutes in the morning and in the evening to actually go through. It's called a mental workout that I use to focus my energy on what I want to achieve and how will I actually get there. Now, the mental workout is split into 5 steps. Number 1, I start with a breathing exercise. Yes, the same one you've heard me speak about earlier on, which is breathe in for 6 seconds, hold your breath for 2, and then continuously exhale for 7 seconds. This helps regulate my heart rate and the excitement levels. Identity statement is the second part, and I recite in my head the vision I have for myself as an individual, what I want to achieve in life, and what defines success for me on a period of 10 years. These can be 2 or 3 sentences that define who you are and who you want to be. Actually, what is your projection for the future? What will make you happy in terms of achievement 10 years from now? The what I want to achieve part is split into product goals and process goals. A product goal is actually looking at the destination, such as by the end of the year I will read 12 books. A process goal looks at how you get there, which is the journey, reading at least 30 minutes or 45 minutes per day, which will contribute to my product goal. The third step is personal success reel. This part is visualizing through mental images, covering your version of success, the milestones that you want to hit in 10 years from now. Then also I do a quick reflection on what I will be doing today that can contribute to my process goals. Finally, I repeat my identity statement, number 4, and the 5th step and the last one is repeat the breathing exercise. Now you give it a go. The next book I want to discuss is Sprint, How to Solve Big Problems and Test New Ideas in Just 5 Days. While working at Google, designer Jake Knapp created a unique problem-solving methodology that he named a design sprint, which is a 5-day process to help companies answer crucial questions such as, where's the most important place to focus your effort and how do you get started? His sprints were used on everything from Google Search to Chrome to Google X. When he decided to move to Google Ventures, he joined Braden Kowitz and John Zeratsky, both designer and partners he worked with on products such as YouTube and Gmail. Thank you for YouTube, by the way. This methodology is now widely used across companies in various industries, be it healthcare or fitness, finance, retailers, and more. Myself, working as a management consultant, I inevitably deal with a lot of processes, products, and services that I look on creating from scratch or improving and optimizing an existing one. Each client environment presents its own challenges, but there's one common thread. You need to get people on board and get them excited about how the future could look like, and then develop the solution together to enable the business to adopt it quickly as part of their day-to-day ways of working. The Sprint book provides you with a great process, which is shown here, for developing solutions for delicate problems in short periods of time, following a step-based approach, which is paid with a lot of sticky notes. It will make a lot more sense once you read it. I have already emulated this methodology with some of my clients, most recently in creating a change management process, a process to help business maintain full traceability of their changes against their reference plan, aka the baseline. Next book is Brian Christian, Algorithms to Live By. This is an enthralling promenade in the world of computer algorithms and their application in our day-to-day challenges, helping us solve widely encountered decision-making problems and shed light into how the human mind works. Our very existence on this planet is limited, and time and space are 2 major constraints. What should we do or leave undone in a day or in a lifetime? How much chaos should we accept? What balance of new activities and familiar ones are most rewarding? These questions are applicable to both computers and humans, and computer scientists have been racking their brains for decades to come up with the right solutions. Brian Christian and cognitive scientist Tom Griffiths has shown how algorithms used by computers can help you solve intricate human puzzles. They explain how to have better gut feelings and when to leave things to hazard, how to deal with overwhelming choices, and also how to best connect with one another. From selecting a secretary, finding that one special life partner, selecting the right parking spot, organizing your messy inbox and your wardrobe, to understanding the workings of memory. This book will help you develop simple and efficient strategies that will change your approach to life. There is no optimal stopping point for reading this book. You'll get the pun once you read it. By the way, I'm using this when I will rent my new flat. Now, the last book that I want to present is Philippa Peppa, The Book You Wish Your Parents Read. Now, a new baby is a life-changing experience that we all want to ensure we provide our kids with the key building blocks, education, culture, and behaviors that will enable them to succeed in life and adapt to a world where EQ is king. The experience of being a parent is unique, and we are all shaped by our own personal history and upbringing, and this plays a massive role in our parenting style. It is essential to reflect on how life experiences that you've enjoyed or not can actually contribute to the way you raise your child. You should always try to take a step back to analyze your own feelings and emotions and to actively listen to your child's feelings. Yes, the same theme as in the negotiating book. Once you've done this, all the behavior modeling that follows can be solved through emphatic communication, which is sincere, heartfelt discussions through which the parent and child exchange emotional baggage and then contribute to a better understanding of each other's roles. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's important to ensure that these do not turn into a pattern and a negative cycle that contributes to a deteriorated parent-child relationships that then affects the growth and the emotional development of the child. My own learning is to respond with empathy every time my baby is crying or is cranky due to jumping through the mental leaps that she's currently experiencing now. Well, this was my top 10. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm keen on hearing your comments down below and as well suggestions for what books you actually think could provide great know-how and further insights. Remember, sharing is caring. If you haven't done it by now, don't forget to hit the like button and as well the subscribe button to ensure you get looped in all the future debates and insights. Till the next time, remember to prove your existence by thinking.